Hi, and welcome. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about the habit of grief. That is the next thing up in the schedule of topics that people have asked me about. And in fact, what's been coming up are different habits of grief. So we're going to look at this topic for the next, probably for about the next week. And I'm going to do a different Facebook Live at different times of the day so that I can catch many of you at different times. So hopefully you're connecting in. So when we talk about a habit of grief, the habit of grief comes because society doesn't give us the time or the space to grieve in the way that we need to. We are often being told that we need to be the person that we used to be, and why are we still hanging on to this? And we get all of these buck up messages that really just don't support us. And in fact, they can help to reinforce for us that we think we should be over this by now. But that's a myth. It's not the truth of it. Grief is a slow-moving process, and we need to stay present to our grief. A bad habit of grief, though, is to find ways to avoid our grief. So I'm going to talk about one way in particular today, and then we're going to build on this conversation over the next couple of days. So the way that I used to avoid my grief was to get busy. It's something that was handed down to me from my mother, and it was handed down to her through her mother. In fact, my father carried this one too, and I know it was handed down to him through his mother. If you're feeling sad, or if you're feeling upset, or if you're feeling lonely, just get busy so that you're not thinking about it. You're not focusing on it, and you're not wallowing in it. The word wallowing kept showing up. So if you are experiencing that you are doing things to keep yourself busy so that you won't feel it, so that you won't experience the grief, what you're really doing is you're relegating your grief to a deep place inside of you where you can't access it. And the problem with that is that becomes buried and carried grief. And as we've said so many times before, when we bury and carry our grief, then we are not moving through our grief, and it's going to be stuck. And so if you are experiencing that you're stuck in that place where you have some really bad habits that you've been taught, first of all, please don't blame yourself. We do the best that we can until we learn something new and different. And the reality is, learning how to grieve can be a brand new learning for most of us because we don't learn how to do it. Our families didn't teach us how to do it. We're kind of on our own with it. And after about the first week or two after a death, society is looking to push us through and forward. And sometimes instead of moving forward, what we really need to do is we need to take a step backwards. And so taking that step backwards can be a really scary thing. And yet here's the thing. It is the pathway to move through the grief, and that's what we need to do. So finding the ways to do this, finding the healthy habits and learning the healthy habits so that we can let go of our grief, so that we can move through it with ease and grace, and we can actually get to the other side and discover who we are on that other side. Hopefully this has been of help to you in identifying some things that you may be doing that maybe you don't want to be doing. You want to go slow. You don't want to worry about moving forward. Let yourself look backwards before you move forwards. And if you're not sure how to do this, please contact me. Either private message me, or if you'd rather, just put a note in the comment section here and I will contact you and we'll set up a time to talk one-on-one. It is always my pleasure to be with you and to walk with you here. I hope you have a very peaceful rest of the day. Namaste.